What's up, everyone? Welcome back. If you're looking to build wealth through real estate, you've probably heard about multifamily properties. Maybe you've even invested in some multifamily properties. Maybe you've lost your ass in some. But we need to know, what exactly are they? Why are they such a hot investment? And how can you get started profitably and efficiently? So in this video, we're gonna deep dive into multifamily real estate investing in the US, from market structure to actionable steps you can take right now, today. So stick around, smash that like button. If you're brand new, make sure to subscribe. We are all about building wealth via hard assets, getting two returns simultaneously with the same dollars, and getting you access to the institutional grade stuff without being one of those big banks and not even necessarily a big investor. So let's break down step by step so you can walk away with a clear plan and path to investing in multifamily real estate. The US real estate market is massive, valued at over $5 trillion for commercial properties alone. Now that's split into three main categories. We've got residential, we've got commercial, and then we've got industrial. Residential is obviously homes and apartments. Commercial, we're talking about offices, retail space, hotels. And industrial is like warehouses, storage facilities, etc., like this luxury car complex I am in right now. Multifamily real estate can be residential in the sense that it's usually tenants renting from you, but multifamily specifically means 5 units or more, and you're looking to generate rental income. In 2025, multifamily is the most preferred asset class for investors due to the strong fundamentals and steady demand. Markets like Dallas, New York City, and Los Angeles are leading the pack, with Dallas alone recording over $30 billion in multifamily investment sales in Q1 of 2025 alone. Now, why would that be? High job growth, renter demand, and liquidity make these markets gold mines. Now, in a little bit here, because I don't want you to make this mistake, not all markets are created equal. I'm not necessarily saying go invest in New York or LA. There's reasons for that. I like red areas. I like areas where the landlord is protected and the tenant can't go unpaid rent for 13 months and literally just have the government and all of legislation on their side. Now, which market are you eyeing for investment? Let me know, drop it in the comments below. And also, I'm going to tell you later on markets that I like investing in and how you can actually get involved as well. Now, again, multifamily real estate is defined as 5 units or more. And when you go to invest in multifamily real estate, the loan is collateralized by the cash flow of the property. When you're buying a duplex or say 4 units or less, the loan is collateralized by your income. In other words, do you make enough to buy this property if you're gonna finance it? That's why I like multifamily, because more tenants means less risk, more likelihood that it will cash flow, because a property can have 100 units and 10 people cannot occupy, 10 units can be vacant, you're still cash flowing. Now, if you have 4 units and 2 people end up exiting, you're probably losing money. So the banks always look at 5 units or more as multifamily, and it doesn't matter how much income you have to buy the property. What matters is, does the property generate more than what the debt is to service that property? That's what we call DSCR, debt service coverage ratio. Now, what's multifamily's edge? It's scalable. You manage one property, but collect rent from many tenants, spreading risk and boosting cash flow. In a little bit, I'm gonna talk about how you can passively invest in multifamily without having to own or manage the properties yourself either. But why invest in multifamily? First, it's in high demand. Over 23 million US households live in multifamily housing, and with home ownership costs 35% higher than the cost of rent in 2025, more people are choosing to rent. Top markets like Dallas with low cap rates and $30 billion in Q1 sales alone. New York City, with a vacancy rate among the lowest in the country, are typically investors' favorites. And then you've got emerging markets like White Plains, New York, or Madison, Wisconsin, where it's heating up as well. Occupancy rates are 97% and 96% respectively. In other words, the whole building's really rented out. These markets benefit from job growth, tight supply, and renter demand. Look at Kansas City, for example. Rent growth of 8 to 10% every single year over the last decade, and no job sector makes up more than 15% of the economy, making it very recession resistant, as opposed to a market like Detroit, where it's heavy in manufacturing and was taken down by events like COVID. Multifamily can be a great hedge against inflation and economic swings. Even in 2025, with a lot of economic uncertainty, with a tariff change, demand outpaced supply by 131,151 units in Q1 alone. But let's break down what's fueling this demand. So you've got high ownership costs. Mortgage payments are 35% above rent. renting is becoming more affordable. You've got demographic shifts. Millennials and Gen Zs are now the ones entering the rental market, and they can't afford to buy a home because their degree that they went back to college for 4 times didn't work, and they now work at Subway with $200,000 of student loan debt, making $17 an hour. Markets like Austin, Dallas, Nashville are seeing high job growth, driving renter demand. Urbanization and lifestyle. Remote work and urban amenities draw renters to cities like Boston and New York. With a housing shortage at 3.1 million, single-family home shortage pushes people into apartments as well. And then you got to look at economic resilience. Back in 2008 with the real estate market crash, the real estate that went back to the bank into foreclosure or short sales, they were largely single-family. They were not multifamily. They were those single rental households, those single income households, those one-unit properties that went back to the bank, whereas multifamily owning multiple doors under one roof served as a hedge during inflationary and economically uncertain times. So these factors make multifamily a safe bet. People need homes, and multifamily fills that gap. There's very few things somebody needs, but at the top of the list is food, air, water, and shelter. So the next question you guys are probably asking is, how do you generate income from multifamily? Because you can actively invest, or you can get into multifamily passively without having to own any of it yourself. Multifamily properties generate income through multiple tenants paying a rent, utility upsells, amenity upsells, creating steady cash flow. In 2025, average rent growth is projected to be at 2.2 to 2.6%. In really good markets, that can be as high as 8 to 10% annually. Then you've got appreciation. Property value rises over time, especially in high demand markets. That means that while your rent is increasing, the value of that property is also increasing. So should you decide to sell, it's setting you up for a nice exit. You've also got value add strategies where you can renovate existing units, which appreciates the value of the property and allows it to also get more rent. You also have tax benefits, depreciation deductions, 1031 exchanges. You can do things that are called cost segregation studies, where you could effectively come up with enough write-offs to offset all of your passive income taxes and have the ability to pay as low as 0% on all of your rental income. Now you get a couple options. You can manage properties yourself, or you can hire a management company to manage the properties themselves. But either way, this is not how I choose to invest in multifamily real estate. I don't want a job out of it. I don't want to own the property and be responsible for managing it. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to invest passively and not have to worry about any of it. Now, real quick before I go any further, I mentioned earlier that not all economies are created the same when it comes to what markets to invest in multifamily. You look at New York, for example, it had a record-breaking rent growth, but it had rent control, which means that over the last 10 years, for example, the rent was capped. If you owned a multifamily property, you could only increase at certain levels. So you actually saw what was due for a 10-year increase happen overnight. And it caused a really big shock. And what ended up happening is a lot of tenants couldn't afford that, because people that were paying $1,000 a month for rent all of a sudden got a notice that the rent was going up to $1,800 a month. So it was forced, it was fabricated. You go into markets like LA, for example, there's tons of investors that'll buy skyscrapers all the time and large multifamily buildings. And what you have to understand is that when you're getting into multifamily, not all properties are created the same. There's the good end of town, there's the bad end of town. There's the Section 8 housing, there's the homeless housing, and then there is literally the Class A properties that have all of the value in the world, but they don't cash flow tons because they're high cost, they're high amenity, but they're a good store of value. So that's the kind of property that the big banks and institutional grade investors buy because it's sure, it's safe, it's secure. You get all these different properties, but then you move into markets that are politically blue, where they side on the tenant. The tenant can say, hey, I don't feel like paying right now. The biggest struggle I have in my life right now is deciding how many pronouns I want to use, and I don't want to pay my rent. And they don't have to, and legislation sides with them. So you all of a sudden go from having a 10, 15, 20, $30 million property to your balance sheet showing that you're not cash flowing positively, and now all of a sudden that $30 million property is worth $15 million, and it's not financeable and it's not sellable because the tenants aren't paying their rent. So you specifically want to make sure, whether you are investing passively using the strategy I'm going to drop in a second here, or you're choosing to buy your own multifamily real estate, you want to make sure that the specific area that you are investing in, whether it's the state as a whole and legislation at a state level backing you up as a landlord, or it's a micro high-end area where people are responsible, you want to make sure that the laws are on your side, because the minute tenants stop paying, the value of your property immensely drops. So I like to go in areas that are red, that also have rent growth, that are low crime. So I look in areas like Kansas City, for example, where you have a very recession-resistant environment, where no job sector makes up more than 15% of the economy, where you've got big companies coming in like Meta, building multi-billion-dollar facilities, which are going to bring retail business, surface-based business, other economies into the area, other infrastructure into the area, which increases the demand for multifamily housing and brings thousands and thousands of jobs into that economy for the next several predictable years. I invest in markets like that. Texas as a whole is a red market. Austin is a blue market. You had huge BLM riots a few years ago when that was a whole movement there and they decided to take over the whole city. So how do you invest passively? That's the last question here. I actually decided to invest in Kansas City because I found a fund that I could invest in that they did all the management. They had the Class A properties. They had the development managers. They were in with permitting. They knew city planning. They knew all the ins and outs. They knew where to invest and how to invest and what areas were going to appreciate, where they could get the most rent growth, where the laws protected them, and I decided to invest with them. But the really cool thing for you guys is that I went to them and I said, hey, if I end up being able to send people your way, will you give discounts? Will you give a certain investor perk? So I ended up creating this community called the Capitalist Network, where you can actually join, get access to the multifamily opportunities we have, whether you're accredited or non-accredited, and I'm able to actually offer higher preferred returns to all of the members. What we teach inside the Capitalist Network is how to create wealth with hard assets, get two returns simultaneously with the same dollars, and actually be able to invest like an institutional grade investor. We do this with real estate, multifamily, single family, oil and energy deals, institutional grade financial products. I put the link in the description. You can check that out as well. But case in point, guys, you want to make the decision whether you decide to be that property manager and owner yourself, or if you're like me, you're just like, hey, I want to enjoy life, invest passively, and just know that I've got a reliable partner. That's what I do. Appreciate you guys. Subscribe, smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next video.